Number 3 TCU entered Saturday's Fiesta Bowl at 8-point underdogs. They never trailed in the game. The Horned Frogs are national championship bound after taking down number 2 Michigan, 51-45. It was Michigan's first loss of the season, and TCU is now the first Big 12 team to win a college football playoff game. Their victory is also the largest upset in CFP history, surpassing the 2014 semifinal when number 4 Ohio State beat number 1 Alabama as 7-point dogs. Click here for more sports coverage on foxnews.com. Max Duggan, number 15 of the TCU Horned Frogs, reacts after rushing for a touchdown during the first quarter against the Michigan Wolverines in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl at State Farm Stadium on December 31, 2022 in Glendale, Arizona. Max Duggan, number 15 of the TCU Horned Frogs, reacts after rushing for a touchdown during the first quarter against the Michigan Wolverines in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl at State Farm Stadium on December 31, 2022 in Glendale, Arizona. Norm Hall/Getty Images. Michigan failed twice in goal-to-go opportunities. The first play from scrimmage was a 54-yard run by Donovan Edwards to get the Wolverines in striking distance. However, a Philly special gone wrong on 4th and goal resulted in a turnover on downs. TCU's first score was a Bud Clark pick six, and then Max Duggan ran one in to take a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. Shortly after getting on the board with a field goal, Michigan had 1st and goal from the 1, but Kalel Mullings lost a fumble, and it was a touchback for TCU, who remained up 11. After both teams exchanged punts, Duggan led a 10-play, 83-yard touchdown drive to put TCU up 21-3 with 4:56 to go in the half, but Jake Moody did drill a 59-yard field goal at the end of the half to cut the deficit to 15 points. The third quarter, though, was a tremendous back-and-forth. TCU punted on their first drive of the second half, and although Michigan got inside the 10-yard line quickly, the Frogs held them to a field goal. On their next drive, Duggan threw a pick, and 3 plays later, the Wolverines scored on a flea flicker to make it 21-16. TCU made quick amends, going 75 yards in just 2 minutes and taking a 28-16 lead after Emery Demercadu's 1-yard score. On a 3rd and 3, McCarthy threw his second pick six of the day. This time, it was D. Winters. Bud Clark, number 26 of the TCU Horned Frogs, celebrates after returning an interception for a touchdown during the first quarter against the Michigan Wolverines in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl at State Farm Stadium on December 31, 2022, in Glendale, Arizona. Bud Clark, number 26 of the TCU Horned Frogs, celebrates after returning an interception for a touchdown during the first quarter against the Michigan Wolverines in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl at State Farm Stadium on December 31, 2022, in Glendale, Arizona. Christian Peterson/Getty Images. Bryce Young throws 5 touchdowns as No. 5 Alabama blows out No. 11 Kansas State in Sugar Bowl. After McCarthy answered with a rushing touchdown, the Frogs scored again just 58 seconds later, taking a 41-22 lead with 49 seconds left in the third quarter, but Michigan found the end zone before the end of the frame, went for 2, and trailed 41-30 through 3. In all, there were 44 points scored in the third quarter, 24 by the Wolverines, and 20 by TCU. But a wild quarter needed one more wild play. TCU fumbled on the final play of the period, and it was recovered by Michigan at the TCU 27. Once again, each time Michigan seemed dead, they were revived. It took just 2 plays for Michigan to score, as Wilson took an end around into the end zone. The ensuing 2-point conversion was good, and it was a 41-38 game. Viewed in a game of quick scores, Duggan dumped one off to Quinton Johnson, who took it 76 yards for a touchdown, and TCU was up 10 with 13:07 to go. After forcing a 3-and-out, Darius Davis returned the punt to the Wolverine 16. TCU was held to a field goal and extended their lead to 51-38. Michigan wasn't dead yet, as Wilson scored another touchdown with 3:18 to go, and made it a 6-point game. Michigan forced a TCU punt and had one more chance, needing to go 75 yards in 52 seconds, but they were stuck in their tracks, and TCU held on to the victory. Duggan completed 14 of his 29 passes for 225 yards and 2 scores while also rushing for 2 more touchdowns. Demercado ran for 150 yards on 17 carries, 1 of which was a touchdown, and Johnson had 6 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown. As for Michigan, McCarthy went 24-34 for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns, but his 2 interceptions both were returned for scores. Edwards ran for 119 yards on 23 carries, while Ronnie Bell and Wilson combined for 239 receiving yards on 11 catches. Emery Demercado, number 3 of the TCU Horned Frogs, celebrates with teammates after rushing for a touchdown during the third quarter against the Michigan Wolverines in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl at State Farm Stadium on December 31, 2022 in Glendale, Arizona. Emery Demercado, number 3 of the TCU Horned Frogs, celebrates with teammates after rushing for a touchdown during the third quarter against the Michigan Wolverines in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl at State Farm Stadium on December 31, 2022 in Glendale, Arizona. Norm Hall/Getty Images. Click here to get the Fox News app. TCU will now look to become the first Big 12 team to win the national championship since Texas took down USC in the Rose Bowl on January 4, 2006. They await the winner of the Peach Bowl between number 1 Georgia and number 4 Ohio State.